Now, your forecast first, sponsored by Matex Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
What a windy day it has been all across the area. These winds have slowly begin to kind of lighten up a little bit. Still 10 to 15 miles an hour, but they are going to ramp back up again as we head into the day tomorrow. It is kind of a chilly night out there with temperatures back down into the mid-40s now, 45 Champaign and Pontiac, 46 from Watsika down to Taylorville, one of the cooler readings, both Jacksonville and Springfield at 43 degrees. So clear skies looking good here through tonight, but that's going to allow for temperatures to really fall off for the kids at the bus stop in the morning with readings in the upper 30s to near 40 degrees to start the day. Sunshine and those winds picking back up, but actually mid-60s, the warmest we have on the entire 7-day. We'll talk more about that coming up. WCIA 3 News starts right now.
Now from WCIA 3 News.
Obey the speed limits, signal, stop at stop signs.
It's advice you often hear from behind the wheel. It's starting to pay off.
And I was just a dancer, and I came here.
Plus, it's been a year since one dance studio opened its doors, how it's helped one group of girls grow. And one coach made a wager with his team, why he decided to pay up early.
You're watching your local news leader. This is WCIA 3 News at 10.
There's a whole lot of factors, but there's a conscious effort to be safe.
New statistics show the number of people dying in crashes is decreasing across the country for the second year in a row. The same goes for here in Illinois. Good evening, I'm Paul Cicchini. Jessica's off tonight. Today, the U.S. Department of Transportation released highway crash data for 2018. It shows a 2.4% decline in overall deaths. WCIA 3's Jennifer Jensen is here. Jennifer, what else do these numbers show?
Paul, that 2.4% decrease translates into 913 fewer deaths than in 2017 in the U.S. Still, that means 36,560 people lost their lives in roadway crashes last year. Today, I spoke to people whose jobs it is to make sure drivers understand the responsibility that comes with getting behind the wheel.
Just pay attention, think about your families, think about everybody else's family. Just make sure you go home every day.
Tow truck drivers like Shane Heyer see the life-altering consequences that come from traffic crashes.
The first year I worked here, it was very hard for me. It was very emotional. I did my first fatality, and I had to walk away and collect my thoughts.
The aftermath of deadly accidents look like this. In 2018 in Illinois, there were 948 fatal crashes. While that's 50 fewer than the year before, it's something nobody wants to see happen at all. That's one of the reasons Tony Martin goes to work every day. He teaches drivers education to make sure people understand the safety fundamentals at a young age.
Same thing we've been telling them for 20 years. Obey the speed limits. Signal, stop at stop signs, check your shoulder before changing lanes.
It's a formula that can prevent a number of these deadly crashes. Across the nation in 2018 compared to 2017, death among children in traffic crashes reduced by 10.3%. Speeding-related deaths declined by 5.7%, and alcohol-impaired driving deaths went down by 3.6%.
I think there's a lot of other factors going in other than just people suddenly deciding to be responsible.
Martin believes it's a downward trend that can't be explained by just one thing.
Parents are encouraging their kids to drive safely. Cars are a lot smarter than they used to be. They've got warning sensors in them. You know if there's somebody in your blind spot. They have automatic braking if you start coming up on someone too fast.
The National Highway Transportation Safety Administration also calculated deadly crash statistics estimates for the first half of 2019. By this time last year, the death rate was down by 3.4%, or 589 fewer deaths. They say that suggests the decreasing trend may be continuing. Paul, back to you.
That's a little bit of good news. Jennifer, thanks. Well, a man in Champaign who has a long history with the Boy Scouts is facing federal charges. Authorities say it's for child pornography. 79-year-old Milton Forsberg is accused of uploading photos of underage boys. Last month, the Boy Scouts of America told authorities at least one man claims Forsberg abused him when he was 13 years old. Forsberg hasn't been directly involved with the organization for more than 30 years. Investigators searched Forsberg's house and found more pornographic pictures of boys and a dark room with photographs he took of girls. His home is on West Charles Street in Champaign. Forsberg was arrested last week. The troop Forsberg used to lead was disbanded in the 90s. A federal judge ordered him to be held until his trial. We reached out to his lawyer, Steve Beckett, for a statement. He said, quote, Mr. Forsberg is a longtime resident who has contributed much to the benefit of this community. I objected to his detention while the case is pending as not being a risk of flight or risk of harm. We have an update from last night. A deal was reached between a school district and a teachers union to keep them in the classroom, but it still needs to be ratified and voted on. The Blue Ridge School District and Farmers City and teachers union came to an agreement around 1 a.m. today. The big sticking point during contract talks had been salaries. The union voiced concerns about the higher rate of teacher turnover because of pay. The base salary there is in the low $30,000 range for teachers.
There were consequences for waiting to Sunday that would put stress on everyone. You know, parents trying to figure out childcare, teachers trying to figure out what they're going to be doing, you know, bus drivers and cooks and all those folks who have just been on pins and needles.
Yeah, it was stressful. We had to do a lot of candid conversations and looking at numbers and so forth, and we realized that when it comes down to it, it's about the students here.
The deal would span 3 years. Teachers had been set to strike Monday. The vote on the deal will happen Sunday. New at 10, one city plans to change its ordinance regarding recreational marijuana. Champaign City Council wants to change the rules to reflect new state laws. The vote passed unanimously. The ordinance change will include how much marijuana a person is allowed to possess and will make it illegal to use it in public. Council will vote on the amendments at a later date. For more information about what the change means, head to WCIA.com. Also at City Council, limitations on video gaming businesses in Champaign could get scaled back if the city decided to change an ordinance. Right now, they can only have 5 gaming terminals, but that number may go up. Tonight, they had a study session to discuss increasing the number of terminals to 6. The Illinois Video Gaming Act was amended earlier this year to allow it. Champaign's city ordinance has to be changed to make it legal. More terminals means the city would get more tax revenue. In the past, Champaign Council has not allowed an increase in terminals. One business owner said the change would benefit his bottom line.
A 6th machine is, in many cases, is a bonus because in many cases we have customers who are waiting to play the 5 machines at any given time. It also gives the customers more variety. In other words, picking different machines. They don't always like to play the same one. So there's an anticipated opportunity to improve gaming revenue of up to 20%.
There are 269 terminals across 62 businesses in the city. Last year, the city received about $840,000 in taxes from video gaming. Council voted to direct staff to amend the ordinance. A final vote on that would be taken Monday night. Piatt County is short on money now. Some departments are considering cuts to bring them out of the red. The county's in the red, about $500,000 in the general fund. Today, the county board approved a tentative budget to fix that problem. It set a goal to have departments, including the circuit clerk, emergency management agency, and sheriff's office, slash about 9% of their budgets. On average, departments cut about 7%. It's not enough, though. Even if all the departments met that 9% goal, the county would still come up short. Now the county board is going to look at the department's budgets more closely to see what else can be done. There are some bets you don't want to pay. My one coach, though, was more than happy to pay his. Plus, it looks like a dance studio, but girls are learning more than moves. How it's teaching them confidence, too. And many of us probably remember when a pilot safely landed an airplane in the Hudson River years ago. How one university is taking inspiration from that miracle.